Hey Hofstra fans, welcome inside this week's edition of the W.B. Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com. I'm Tom Brady, the pleasure of being joined by the head coach of the Hofstra wrestling team, Rob Anspach. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, of course, Coach, big news this weekend. The team gets a 25-12 victory over Big Ten school Wisconsin. What are your initial thoughts on just a big win for the program?
It was a great weekend for the program in general. Saturday night we honored Deputy Chief Ray Downey, so that was something great. And then to follow it up with a nice win against Wisconsin was just kind of the icing on the cake for the weekend. But I think when we're talking about the match, myself and my staff, we felt we were the better team, so we went out there and performed, and it wasn't a surprise.
Now, you talked about how big this match would be, for recruiting purposes, things of that nature. You're expecting a big crowd at the MAC. Got that, and of course, were you expecting to get such a dominating victory?
I felt we could win every match we wrestled, and I wasn't just saying that to the guys when I was talking to them. I said I think we're a better team and we can win every match if we go out there and perform. We ended up winning 7 out of the 10. It was a great job, and now what we need to do is kind of put that match behind us, get ready for a very tough Las Vegas tournament, and work on some of the mistakes we made and try and keep improving in certain other areas.
First match of the day, Steve Bonanno at 125, an 18-2 tech fall, a big match for Steve. How impressed were you with his performance?
He did an outstanding job going out there. He got taken down to start the match, and he just continued to fight. He got into his positions and then controlled the match. And once he had the guy on the ropes, he didn't stop. And he kept pouring it on. 18-2, got the crowd excited, got everybody else behind him feeling like, okay, this is I can do the same thing. And it gave everybody behind him a little bit more confidence.
How important was it that, as your kind of emotional leader, he went out and he, took that first step and got that first win?
Well, it set the tone for the rest of the match. And anytime you can go out there and get an 18-2 win, it just makes everybody feel a little bit more comfortable.
And at 133, Jamie Franco gets a 4-3 win after a tiebreaker escape. How impressed were you with Jamie, and how important was it to get that second win and kind of put the pressure on right away?
Yeah, that was a big match. When you're going through the matchups, you look at certain things and you say, hey, we're really favored at this match. That was one of those matches, if you looked on paper, it was kind of a toss-up. And Jamie did a great job. He got taken down off of his own shot. He didn't panic. He didn't fluster. He just continued to wrestle, continued to keep doing the things he needed to do, got the takedown to send it in overtime. And then when we were in the tiebreakers, I think he felt pretty confident that he was able to ride the kid during regulation, so he didn't have to force anything. He just did exactly what he needed to do. Same thing on bottom. He stayed patient, and when the guy gave him a second to kind of lost his control of him, Jamie exploded out, was able to get out, and then seal the match.
Now 141, not as close of a match again. Luke Veit, the dominating 16-0 tech fall victory. 3-1 on the season now, his only loss in injury default. How impressive has he been in the early part of the season?
He's been great. He spent all summer here working on the things he needed to correct, getting strong. And you can see when he goes out there, he's a big 141-pounder. And he went out there and did exactly what we told him to do. We said, get out there, be aggressive, stay in your positions. He's coming off an injury. We didn't want him to get in any type of compromising positions. And the best way to do that is to control your opponent. He did that right from the start and made pretty quick work of his opponent.
Now 149, one of Wisconsin's bright spots, 13th ranked Cole Schmidt. He was able to get the win over Justin Accordino. What did you see out of that match?
Yeah, we wrestled him a couple times, so we kind of knew what Schmidt was going to do. We didn't quite execute our game plan as well as we wanted to, but a lot goes into that match. Justin making weight for us on very short notice. He did a great job. We just need to get some of the rust off of Justin. He hadn't wrestled a lot in the last 2 years because of knee injuries, and I think that kind of showed out there. We did see some nice things from him. He had a nice takedown in the second period, and he continued wrestling throughout the whole time. He didn't get down on himself. We just need him to start executing the game plan better, just be a little bit more consistent in the positions and not give up such easy takedowns.
And how much of it is, trying to get him back to that confidence level where he was at, of course, very strong wrestler before the knee injuries?
Yeah, anytime you're hurt, it takes some time. Even though he's been wrestling in the practice room, he's been doing all those things, you need to be on that mat to really feel 100% confident that my knee is okay. I mean, he went through it 2 years ago. He thought his knee was fine. He ended up tearing it. So that's got to be in the back of his head until he gets a couple more matches under his belt and really feels secure on that knee. I think we might see a little bit of inconsistency from him, but by March he'll be okay.
157, Tyler Banks gets a 3-0 victory. Now, a bit of a low-scoring victory, but again, you put a stop right away to maybe any chance of Wisconsin to get back right into the match.
Yeah, right before the halftime to go out there, Tyler did a great job wrestling who the Wisconsin staff thinks is one of their better guys. And we went out there, the kid didn't score a point, we controlled him on our feet, we were able to get out from underneath them, and we rode him for, 3 minutes of the match. So in all phases, wasn't a huge scoring win, but it was a very dominating, controlled 3-0 victory.
Now 165, another bright spot for Wisconsin with Ben Jordan. He was ranked in the top 20, but of course, that's a bright spot for your team as well. PJ Gillespie is able to get a big victory, 3-1 victory in that one.
Yeah, PJ did an outstanding job wrestling. The one thing I liked this week as opposed to last week, we had talked about it all week, taking shots. He did that. He didn't score many more takedowns, but this was the best kid he'd wrestled all to date, and he was in on about 4 or 5 shots, a couple out of bounds we didn't get. And we just wanted to see that type of commitment from PJ, to look to score more points, look to take advantage of certain opportunities. He did that. As long as he continues doing those things, the points will come, and major decisions and technical falls will happen after that. But we had to get through the first part, which was going out and making those attempts.
174, freshman and Jermaine John. That was a tight match, tied to 3 before he wound up being pinned by Frank Cousins. But still, what can he take away? What positives from being in a tight match up until that point?
Well, I think when we're looking at the match, he dominated 5 minutes of the match. He was up. He got the takedown on their feet. He was able to get off the bottom relatively easily against Cousins in the second period, and again, he was controlling the action on his feet. He got taken down, and as he was trying to make the escape, he got his head too close. He got caught and pinned. He made just a simple mistake, nothing like crazy. But it's just something that Jermaine has been able to get away with a lot of things because he's so naturally talented, he's so naturally strong. He's going to learn that you can't quite get away with certain things at this level. That was a very hard lesson to learn, but something that he'll take from it and continue to work harder, and it'll help him better as the year goes on.
A 184, Ben Clymer does all the scoring. In the third period, a low-scoring match victory for him. He's one of those guys that you pointed out at the beginning of the season. You wanted him to be more aggressive and score more points. Obviously, it's still a win, but what else are you looking for at Ben?
Same thing. We need him to be more aggressive. I think he could have gotten in a couple takedowns. He let the guy off the hook a couple times when he was taken in the third period. The kid was pressing and he was taking some awful shots, and that's the time when we need to capitalize and score. We talk about getting the wins, and he did a nice job getting the victory, but it's also about how you're getting it, because it's just not about getting victories at this point in time in November. It's about getting your wrestling up to the level where you're going to be able to win in March. And those are the things we need him concentrating on and worried about. I'd rather him give up a takedown here and there, obviously still get the win, but give up a takedown here and there by pressing the action and taking some chances.
197, Jackson Hine gets an 11-6 victory over Matt Lowe. What does Matt need to do to come out on the right side of some more matches this season?
Matt, he needs to work on his hand fighting. We talked about it after the match. There's a couple things he can do strategically to just keep his elbows in so he stays in better positions. The thing I liked about Matt is he was getting kind of beat up. He continued to wrestle. He got a takedown late in the match. We let the kid out to try and get another takedown to try and win the match. He doesn't give up. And as long as you have that mentality and you're going out there and wrestling and you're trying to compete, you're going to win some matches and you're going to improve as the season goes.
Paul Snyder at the heavyweight level, 5-2 victory. He improves to 6-1 on the season, and it's just another right step in the right direction for Paul.
It is. He went out there, and one thing that Paul has been a little hesitant doing is scoring in the first period. He went out, he got that takedown right away. He rode the kid for 2.5 minutes then. It actually changed the entire match because the third period came, the kid had to pick neutral. That should be a free point. The kid wasn't confident in his ability to get out. So, Paul going out there, being aggressive right from the start, getting that takedown, riding really aggressively, changed the entire match. You take a lot out of a guy when, Paul's a big kid, 260 pounds, he's laying on you for 2.5 minutes. It's going to wear you down.
Now, what can this match really do for your team's confidence going forward, knowing that they can get a big win like this over a Big Ten school?
It kind of validates what we've been talking about. Going in there, controlling tie-ups, being aggressive. They went out there, they did those things, and they won. So now we don't need to change anything. We just need to continuously improve. We'll spend this week getting ready for Las Vegas. And when we go out there and we see Illinois and we see Nebraska and those teams, it's just another team. You've wrestled Big Ten schools. They're not going to do anything different than we're doing. Go out there, wrestle your style, wrestle your pace, and continue doing the things we talk about, and you're going to be successful.
Now, we're going to talk a lot more about the Cliff Keen Invitational next week. But just looking at it now, you mentioned so many big teams, and just it seems like such a great opportunity again, as your team has been going there the last couple of years, to just go out there and see the best in the nation, get your guys ready, even though it's early. Start thinking ahead and get them ready for nationals.
You need to do these things. You got to see where you stand against the best kids in the country, and it's one more opportunity that, fortunately our athletic department allows us to fly out there and spend a couple days and see some of the top wrestling in the country. And when we come back from that tournament, we'll have a better understanding of where we are, certain things that we need to work on and improve. And I'm hoping to come back there with a lot of confidence after bringing home some trophies.
And finally, Coach, another little side note, Al Bevilacqua, former Hofstra-W.B wrestling coach and someone that you know very well, announced that he's going to be inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame. What does that mean for you personally and as well as this program?
Al was a great ambassador of wrestling. He's always helping out. Like you said, he was a coach here at Hofstra University for a while. I take a lot of advice from him. He helps me in all aspects of it, from trying to get more fans in there and just helping me realize that my job's not just wrestling. It's growing this sport, and that's what Al has done a great job. He started the Beat the Streets program, and we see what that was happening there. It's a tremendous accomplishment for him, and I'm just happy to. I'm happy for him. I'm happy to know him, and I just, I wish him the best.
All right, Rob Anspach, head coach of the Hofstra-W.B wrestling team. Thanks so much for joining us inside this week's edition of the W Mason Coaches Report on GoHofstra.com.
Thank you.